Today on Cancer Buzz, supporting patients with NTRK Fusion positive cancer. Welcome back to Cancer Buzz. I'm your host, Summer Johnson. Advancements in broad molecular testing help the cancer care team make more informed treatment decisions using biomarkers like NTRK Gene Fusions. Unfortunately, many cancer programs, especially those in rural areas and lower resourced communities, don't have access to this type of testing. Our guest joins us today to discuss the work her organization is doing to help patients understand NTRK fusion positive cancer and tackle the barriers to biomarker testing. She hopes more patients like her will have access to this cutting-edge testing. Susan Spinosa is the president and patient founder of NTRKers, an organization created to support patients with NTRK fusion positive cancer.
So the NTRKers Foundation is really getting the patients together to share experiences and share our journey on NTRK inhibitors. It was formed when I started a clinical trial around 5 years ago. I was one of the first persons at my medical institution to go on an NTRK inhibitor, and I was really nervous about that. So I tried to locate other patients, which I was successful about, messaged them, and quickly got back responses from all those messages saying we've been trying to connect with other patients as well, because there was a new drug in the market. So since then, we have several hundred NTRK caregivers and patients on a Facebook group, but also we have the nonprofit organization as well, really trying to spread the awareness for the importance of testing and then the importance of NTRK gene fusion being tested as well.
Can you tell me about your experience as a patient?
I was actually diagnosed with thyroid cancer in 2004, and it wasn't until 2018 that I was fortunate enough to be offered the full sequencing genomic testing and came positive with NTRK. I knew about testing, not to the extent I know about it today, but I knew somehow it was going to change my path or at least give me another alternative if I had that done. So, I was asking my doctors at the time if I can do it, and was said, no, it's really not going to be covered and not sure you need it. So it wasn't until, the years coming up to 2018, my cancer was progressing. I was running out of options. So I actually went on a second opinion to explore something else, a whole nother trial. And that doctor said, before we start any other course of treatment, I'd really like to find out what's driving your cancer. And he offered the genomic testing, and I jumped on the opportunity to get that done. And that was the best second opinion visit that I've ever had.
Talk about some of the challenges that patients with NTRK fusion positive cancer face.
Well, all patients, I think, regardless if it's NTRK, if they're a cancer patient, it's not routine to get genomic sequencing done. One, patients don't have access to the institutions that could potentially do that. Here in the US, we could have insurance hurdles. The test is still expensive. I'm hoping as more people get tested, that will become routine care and be a definitely affordable thing to have happen. So, at the end of the day, what we want to have for every patient who is diagnosed with NTRK is to have accessibility to the drugs and get on this therapy because it does have such good results.
What do you want cancer care team members across the nation to know about NTRK?
That we need to test for it. Everybody should be on the lookout for it. It's a rare biomarker, but in my mind, it shouldn't be rare. The more people we get tested, I think we're going to find it more. And the challenge with NTRK is that it comes, it's across, I think it's more than 22 cancers now, but 22 different types of cancers now. So I can see the challenge, but the more testing we do, the more routine it's going to be. And, my hope is 5-10 years from now, biomarker testing is routine. NTRK is not rare. It's actually going to be a common cancer, and we can get patients on therapy so they can have the response like I did, where, we see shrinkage of tumors within several months of being on the therapy and can go on to live, and get more years of living their life to the fullest.
Thank you for listening to today's show. You can check out the show notes for more about the NTRKers organization and a link to ACCC's current initiative called Emerging Biomarkers, Innovative Therapies for Rare Disease, a spotlight on NTRK Gene Fusion Testing. ACCC has created resources to address these barriers to care, including potential solutions and best practices to improve care for patients with NTRK fusion-positive cancers. Today's episode was made possible by funding through Bayer. Until next time, for the Cancer Buzz team, this is Summer Johnson.
This show is a resource of the Association of Community Cancer Centers.